Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, time for another Q&A. I know I don't have any fixed amount of weeks etc that I do my Q&As. I just randomly do them when I get some time. Yeah, I had loads of questions on the previous video. Really looking forward to answering them. It's been a while since I've seen them. I've just literally had a skim of the questions. Got some good questions. Some I'm not quite sure how I'm going to answer, so we'll see how the video goes. And of course, if you want to see another episode of this Q&A, then I will need some more questions, so please put those questions in the comments box below. I'll also be putting links to everyone's channel that's submitted a question to me in the description, so go and check those links out. If there's a channel on there that you're not subscribed to, then go and give them a sub for me. Okay, so let's get straight on with this. Have a quick sip of coffee. And let's get straight into it. So the first question is from HeresyProducktionz, or just Palmer. How far do you tend to think out your projects and hobby? Do you already think about 2017 projects? That's a very good question. Sort of, do I think about 2017? Well, I sort of do, because I do have my Chaos army to build or at least prepare and paint. Now originally I was thinking 2016 was going to be the year of Chaos. That didn't happen because I didn't really get enough of my Space Wolves painted, so I want to concentrate on doing some more Space Wolves this year. So I'm thinking next year will be the year of Chaos, but then I'm also thinking, there's an ambulance going past, but I'm also thinking that I still may not have enough of my Space Wolves painted to do that. So although I have an inkling, I don't really plan out that far ahead. I usually have 2 or 3 projects on the go, like painting one and building another one or converting another one, etc. And I plan maybe 2 or 3 projects ahead, but things change quite rapidly, especially when you're doing YouTube. If there's like a competition or like a challenge or something that comes up, then I might change what I'm doing so that I can enter that. But yeah, so I do plan ahead, generally not that far ahead, although in the back of my mind is the fact that I do want to do a whole year of Chaos at some point. Thanks for the question, Palmer. Next question is from John Bess, and he's got actually 3 questions by the look of it. So question 1, when is it time to stop collecting and move on to another army? When's it well, it depends, because my first army, my Necrons, I just wanted everything basically. I never planned, like you always do when you first get into this hobby, you never plan on having a second army. It's like, I'm just going to play Necrons, and that's it. But that just doesn't happen. So what tends to happen, I think, is your first army, maybe 1 or 2 armies, you tend to collect absolutely loads, and then as you adventure into newer armies, you maybe collect less of the actual models. Like for example, I'm doing my Dark Eldar. I plan probably only to have a 2,000 point army of Dark Eldar. Just so that I can have another army to play, but not necessarily, I don't want to necessarily collect like 10,000 points of it like I do, say, with my Necrons or my Tyranids. So when is it time to stop collecting? Well, only you can decide that, really. At the end of the day, that's up to you. But personally, I am now in a position where I've got so many armies, so many boxes of models with no space to put them, that now if I do a new army, I'm limiting, I would say maximum 3,000 points, so that you can have a 2,000 point game and change your army list up. But yeah, only you can decide that, really. So the next question from John is, do you have different dice for your armies? Not really. I did try having special dice for my armies. I had tried these like marble ones, had these really cool Tyranid ones, like yellow and black marble with gold dots. What I find with those special effect dice is it's very difficult to see the numbers, especially for an opponent who's like standing across the table, potentially 6 foot across the table. So I sort of abandoned those. I just like having just standard coloured dice. I must admit I've always liked the smaller dice, you know, the standard ones that GW give you. I'm sort of getting the feel for bigger dice now. I think mainly because I've seen Ace Face come round, he's playing with the bigger dice, and now I've got those Tyranid dice that E-TRON gave me. The bigger dice are pretty cool. About those Tyranid dice though, actually, I find it really, really odd because the Tyranid symbol's on the 1. Surely the Tyranid symbol should be on the 6. You want to see a Tyranid symbol and it be good if you're playing Tyranids. You don't want to see a Tyranid symbol and it be bad. Anyway, that's by the side. If I'm playing Necrons, I like to roll my green dice if I can. If I'm playing Eldar, I like to roll my purple dice, but I'm not that finicky about which dice I use. But I prefer plain dice because it's easier to see on the table. John's third question is, where do you get your inspiration for your paint schemes? I'm working on nids at the moment and can't decide. Thoughts? Inspiration for my paint schemes, usually the codex. I mean, my Necrons, my first army, totally based on the codex. I copycat them from the codex, the original old black codex. Tyranids, I wanted a scheme very, very easy to paint. The bulk of my Tyranids is black. And then the ideal colour, I mean, insects, wasps and bees and stuff, is the black and yellow scheme, so that was pretty easy to come up with. My Eldar is based on the Eldar Codex. I wanted my own craftworld though, so I went for the Beltan colours because I like the white and the green, but I swapped out the green for purple. Purple's one of my most favourite colours. I thought purple and white looked really cool, and then I could make up my own craftworld. So that was that. The Space Wolves 13th Company were fluffy, so you know the old armour that they're wearing, the old Space Wolves armour, etc. And then I chose 2 Chaos factions to go with them, so that was pretty simple. So yeah, I'd say the main inspiration for me is the Codex. My Dark Eldar, I wanted something easy to paint but something difficult. Sorry, not difficult. Something easy to paint but something different from what I normally have, what the colours that I'm normally using. So I've come up with a black and orange paint scheme. I haven't started painting that yet. I don't know how it's going to look or how I'm going to do it, but that's how I came up with that scheme. So that is your questions answered. Hopefully they were good answers. Right, next one is Victor Q's, or is it Victor Quest? I'm not quite sure. It's probably Quest. Right, anyway, he says, here's a tricky question. Should I do a Q&A in my channel? Not on my channel, he meant. If yes, what would your question be? So Victor, yes, 100% do a Q&A. Q&As are really, really good fun. They're great videos for people to have on in the background. Something where they can find out more about you and your hobby and your channel. And they're just enjoyable to make. They're fun to make. What question would I ask you? I'd probably ask you some sort of painting question, because you are very rapidly becoming one of my most favourite painters on YouTube. I have to say, your painting is absolutely awesome. So I'd come up with some sort of painting question. You've answered quite a few questions in all your videos, because you do give loads and loads of tips in your videos. So what question would I ask? I might ask you a question like John asked me. Where do you get your inspiration for your paint schemes? That would be a good one. Do it. Do a Q&A. Next one is from Tory Ling. His question is, are you planning to join the WarbossTae Painting Challenge this year? I certainly am. I'm going to be painting my Dark Eldar army, the whole army, in 31 days. I'm going to do it when my wife is away. She's going back to her home country for a few weeks, between 4 and 6 weeks I think. So that's going to happen. It's going to be probably sometime in July, maybe mid-July. But I'll be doing a 31-day painting challenge for sure this year. And I'm going to be doing my Get It Painted challenge later in the year as well. Okay, next is from Darkest Soul. Darkest Soul, thank you for all the fantastic comments you've been putting on my videos recently. You're a pretty new subscriber to me, but I do appreciate all the comments and support. Thank you. So your question is, what are your opinions on proxying with 40k games, i.e. using bolt action minis as guardsmen? I'm absolutely fine with that, to be fair. I think I'm at a stage in my gaming career where if you're going to proxy something, that's fine, but I'd like it to be painted. I mean, I'm not 100% like rigid on that. I mean, I'm quite happy for you to play unpainted models, but it's good for the table, it's good for my battle reports. So I'd say it'd be painted, but I'd be quite happy to have a row of bolt action figures as guardsmen. Anything really, to be fair. If you came down with a Blood Angel chaplain and you said, right, tonight he's a librarian or that's Dante, you know, whatever. As long as I know at the beginning of the game what the models are supposed to be, then I'm quite happy for proxy. And indeed, I've proxied myself. I mean, when the Necron Tomb Stalker came out from Forge World, I used one of my daughter's toys. I blue tacked it to a base and I played it as that model. So I'm quite happy really for proxies. That's not an issue for me, as long as I know what the models are before you play. Next question is from E-TRON. Just to say, E-TRON is having a giveaway on his channel, 100 subscriber giveaway. Go and check it out. You can win a Nurgle model, a Halbrute actually, a Nurgle Halbrute. Go and check it out, it's cool. Anyway, right, his question is, what do you think to the new Games Workshop CEO? And do you think this is why the Facebook page is back up and that the release schedule is being ramped up? I didn't even know that Games Workshop had a new CEO. I don't really follow that type of stuff. Because it's something that I can't change, it doesn't really bother me. So, you know, the models come out, I buy them or I don't buy them. It is good that the ramping up of the releases is fantastic. Whether Fritz is right about potentially, rather than having new rule books released, they're going to release like extra rules and stuff. I think I watched one of his videos, he was talking about that. It seems like that. I mean, we've got Death from the Skies. Are we going to have another book that's going to update the rules? So rather than having an 8th edition come out, we're going to have all these supplements and stuff for the rules. I don't know, it's interesting. But anyway, basically, I don't really think much about the new CEO because I didn't even know there was one, to be fair. In terms of the Facebook page, I think that's good, the extra interaction, and they're putting out, like, we're going to change, we've got these FAQs and they're putting them out for people to like react to before they actually officially release them. That is really good. So whatever is happening, I think it seems to be pretty good. And in my mind's eye, if they're ramping up stuff, releasing stuff, they're really pushing their products, that's got to be good for GW, because it means hopefully they're going to stick around for a long time, because I would hate for them to go bust and for us to lose what we've got. Okay, next question is from Tattoo for You Richard. Richard, he says, are you a sports fan? What part of the hobby really bugs you? So am I a sports fan? I'm not really a sports fan at all, to be fair. I love snooker. That's my other hobby. I really enjoy the hobby. I really enjoy playing snooker. I really enjoy watching snooker. Really love it, actually. But sports, other sports, the only thing I do watch a bit of tennis, Wimbledon, especially if it's England. I like watching like England stuff play, or Britain, should I say? Andy Murray. So I like watching Britain play. Football, I hate football, but I do like to watch England play. So I will be watching like the Euros and stuff. My wife likes football. No, that's wrong. My wife likes watching football to see the men. So we tend to watch a bit of football, but only big games. I don't watch. I don't follow the league. I don't follow a club or anything. Just watch England play rubbish. Yeah. So I'm not really a sportsman. What part of the hobby really bugs you? The thing that I don't like, I suppose, about the hobby is mould lines. Just so annoying having to scrape all mould lines off, but it is just one of those jobs you have to do. But that's probably about the only thing really that bugs me as such. So I'm going to go on to the next page. Next one is from Sgt Oddballz, Brian. He says, do you have a history or fluff done up for your Eldar craft world? So, I'm going to answer what I can for this question. There is a specific reason why I can't tell you all of the stuff. And you'll find out that when it comes to my 5,000 subscriber giveaway. But do I have a fluff or history? Okay, well, I'm not a fluff bunny, as you know, but I am a Star Trek fan. Now, Eldar have pointed ears. They live a long time. They remind me of Vulcans. So in my mind's eye, they're like Vulcans. Yeah, I actually seriously considered painting my Eldar force in like Vulcan colours. Like they're all browny and they're not actually that good, so I dropped that idea. But yeah, there's not too much fluff really behind my craft world. Excuse me. But lots more to come on that. Hero of Cadia. He has a couple of questions. The first question is, how do you decide to make videos? Oh, how did you decide to make videos? I decided to make videos after watching Fritz on his YouTube channel for a good amount of time, inspiring me. This is, I really would like to be doing this. I'd like to be making these videos. So that's what inspired me. I started off with a couple of battle reports mainly, and then I gradually built up from there. But yeah, Fritz inspired me. Question 2. What do you think of the Dawn of War games? I think nothing, because I don't play games. Video games, computer games, blah blah blah. I just don't do it. I have seen the trailer for the new Dawn of War 3. Looks awesome. Wraith Knight, Night Titan, Imperial Knight, fighting. It does look cool. I just don't have the time, don't have the money, don't have a good enough PC, don't have a games console. Don't do gaming. So yeah, just for future reference, don't ask me any gaming related questions because I can't answer them. Right, next we have an essay from Graham Collins. Going to wade through this one for you. Got some interesting stuff in here. Okay, so Graham says, so now we have a new series in the pipeline from CBS, and Michael Dorn's Captain Wolf Chronicles seems to be dead in the water. I didn't know about that. Captain Wolf Chronicles, never heard of that. My question is, if you were producing a new Star Trek series, how would you do it? Would you base it around a Pacific ship, i.e. Enterprise, TOS and TNG? Perhaps from the perspective of an alien race, from say Klingons or Vulcans or Romulan point of view? That would be pretty cool. Or, and do you think we need more female captains, re Voyager? What I really want to know, however, is if it was all unexplored, how did they know where the Delta Quadrant was? Okay, I'm going to rewind. So, CBS, the trailer's up. Excited, very, very excited. And very annoyed because it's, how am I going to see it? I don't have Sky. And even if I do have Sky, the CBS channel on Sky, I don't know. Do they get brand new programs like that, or does it take like a year for them to go on there? I'm not sure. I don't have Sky. I used to have it. I had it for a year on a special deal, but it's very expensive. So we don't have Sky. If anyone knows how I possibly could see the Star Trek series as it's released, let me know, because that's the only thing that, yeah. But I'm very, very excited. It's awesome. And I didn't know about Michael Dorn's Captain Wolf Chronicles for some reason. Darby Conway, why didn't you let me know? Darby's always messaging me with all the new Star Trek stuff, but I've just not seen that at all. Right, if I was producing a Star Trek series, how would I do it? Oops. How would I do it? I just like the traditional, we're on a spaceship out here exploring space type scenario. I did enjoy Deep Space Nine, that was good and that was different. But yeah, I know Voyager and Enterprise and stuff, I like that. So I definitely think that I would continue that way. You know, a new crew somewhere, somehow. Maybe a whole series on Mirror Universe. Possibly. Yeah, and new aliens. You've got to have new alien races, haven't you? Do we need more female captains? I think so. Because, I mean, Janeway was fantastic, apart from her croaky voice, which was slightly annoying. But she was really good. And no, female captain, not a female captain, I don't really mind, to be fair. So yeah, why not female captains, especially if they're hot. Right, Voyager. What I really want to know is, if they were in an unexplored space, how did they know they were in the Delta Quadrant? Well, I think that's pretty easy, isn't it? Because they may have like a map. Technical here, right? They've got a map of the different quadrants, and they know that this is the alpha, gamma, beta, and delta. Just because they haven't been in there, they know they've already named that before they get there. So, if they're in unmapped territory, I don't know. They must be able to pinpoint from like, well, that's there and that's there. So we're here, and there's nothing that we know about here. So we must be in the Delta Quadrant. Maybe. Possibly. Thanks for the questions, Graham. Great to have Star Trek content. Can't have the Q&A without Star Trek question. Next is from TabletopWarzone, Remco. What's your favourite album? Losing one of the best artists this week. Obviously this was from a while ago. We're talking about Prince. What's your favourite Prince song? So put it out there. I am a huge Prince fan. Got into Prince in 1987 and I've never looked back. I own all the albums, all the CDs, load of collector's stuff. Been to see him 6 times in concert, got all the t-shirts. Massive fan. So this is an impossible question to answer. My favourite album, because I love everything of Prince, and picking a favourite one is almost impossible. Yeah, I can't even answer it. Honestly, I just love them all. And it's impossible. And again, favourite Prince song, it's impossible. Just so many. I love so many of them. So I just can't put a favourite. All I can say is that Prince is my favourite. Hopefully that's a good enough answer. And the next question is from Warforge. And he says, cool, USS IDICBeer. So what class of starship would it be? So that's from a question I had in the last video, where I said I'd name a ship from Star Trek, the USS IDICBeer. I think it would have to be a Galaxy class starship, the flagship of the Federation. Why not? Yes. Tabletop Banter, he says, when during the day are you most productive? Have you ever stayed up all night to get a unit painted for a game the following day? I think I'm most productive in the morning. I'm like an early morning bird. I don't really sleep that well. I don't like sleeping. I'm not a fan of sleeping, you know. As soon as I wake up, I'm up. I get up, get on with life. And I do some of my best painting, some hardcore painting early in the morning. Well, I say early. For example, on a Sunday, which I work, but I obviously don't. I leave later on a Sunday to go to work. But I usually get up about 6:30, and I get about 2 or 3 hours painting in. Well, no, not that much. 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. 2 hours. 2 hours of painting before I have to leave for work. But yeah, early birds. So I'd say the mornings I do my best painting. I've never stayed up all night to paint. One of my lights have just gone off, so backup light, hopefully working enough. Yeah, I never stay up all night to do painting for a game, because I don't play in tournaments, and I just, if a unit's not ready, I just say, I'll play that next week instead. So I don't do that. Next question is from Stoner Steve, and he says, if you could see one thing in 40k in the future, what would it be? This could be bringing something back or changing something. What could I see one thing in the future? Well, all I can see at the moment is GW are doing bigger and better. It's more and more, it's bigger and bigger. And I think it will continue that way. I think we'll have even bigger units on the table. Maybe we'll end up playing on a bigger board. 4x8. So no. I think definitely bigger and better. These kits, we're going to end up getting, I think, big Titan type kits out of plastic. With a very expensive box price, but I think it's going to happen. I think it will happen. Okay, third and final page. Next question from I Got Skills. He says, if GW re-release one of these specialist games, as they may well do, which would you want first? Be it most excited for Battlefleet Gothic, Necromunda or Mordheim? So I have had this question before actually, but I have a Battlefleet Gothic army or fleet. I've got an Eldar fleet. I would love that. Having said that, if that came out, that means investment from my point of view. I think Blood Bowl might be a good one for it to come out, because my buddy has Blood Bowl, the old one. It's got a few teams, so I think if Blood Bowl came out, he might potentially get it, and then I could join in and play that with him. So yeah, Blood Bowl and then Battlefleet Gothic probably. Believe Sailing, he says, oh, gotta go back one, missed one. Wargamer Sean, he says, if you could change your name to the symbol what Prince was named for a while, would you? Besides Prince, who is another of your favourite artists? Okay, so would I change my name to Prince symbol? No, I wouldn't. Would I change my main name to IDICBeer? I would. I'd love to be called IDICBeer. Just that's it, that's my name, IDIC. That'd be cool. Then I have to start my videos. IDIC speaking. Beside Prince, who is another of your favourite artists? Well, I am based. Prince is, that's it, Prince. I only listen to Prince really. I do like U2. Some of them are more their older music, I think, probably more than the newer stuff. Older, muty, you know, Joshua Tree and stuff, brilliant. I've had fits and starts of like a few artists here and there. I've got a few albums that I like, but I'm not a huge fan of anyone else really, apart from Prince. Prince is the main man. Okay, so back, yes, to Believe Sailing. He says, did you see the science fiction series Firefly? If so, your opinions. I didn't see the series, no. So I have no opinions of it, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Mini Warzone says, great vid. Is there any 40k army that you have never played against but would like to do? So, there's quite a few that I haven't played against. I think probably maybe Skitarii or Admech, that sort of direction. And of course Ace Face has his Admech army, so I'm sure I'm going to end up playing against that at some point as well, so that's cool. But yeah, probably I'd say Admech stroke Skitarii type thing. The last question is from Joel Driver, and he says, how have the armies you played changed over the editions? And that is a very good question, and indeed I'm sort of making a series of videos called Army Evolution, which I think is sort of covering this a bit. So I don't necessarily think I want to answer this in any depth at all, to be fair, but very briefly, my Necrons, when I first got my Necrons, they were like the uber race. They were fantastic on the table. 10 years no codex, declined. The new codex have come out, and now they're really good again, like they used to be. I think they're in their rightful place. Eldar has changed. Primarily now, I think Eldar are much more shooty than they used to be. A better ballistic skill, some fantastic guns. They still lack a bit of high strength here and there, but on the whole, they've changed for the better. My Space Wolves went defunct from a 13th company, starting to come back now with the release of the Wolven. My Tyranids, they've changed a lot. Really, because of the different codexes that have come out. You know, one minute we've got drop pods, then we haven't got drop pods, now we've got drop pods again, and then we've got flying monstrous creatures, which are now really powerful. So Tyranids have changed quite a bit, but I've got some evolution videos either out or coming out, which hopefully might cover that question in a bit more detail. And that is it, that is all the questions done. So I really hope you enjoyed the chat. Thank you so much for all of the questions. I really do appreciate the questions, because without those questions this video just can't happen. So yeah, please, got any questions for me, put them in the link in the description below. If you've got any questions that you would like to remain anonymous to, then just email me the questions at IDICBeer at gmail.com, IDICBeer@gmail.com, and I'll answer those anonymously with no links, etc. Okay, that's it from me. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.